This is Gene DeLisio with a featured sports interview from WDLB and WOSQ. Edgar's Holly Denfeld wrapped up her outstanding college basketball career at the Milwaukee School of Engineering in the spring of 2017. Holly was a standout athlete in volleyball, basketball, and track at Edgar High School. She was part of 6 state championship relay teams during her high school track career, and also won the Division III state championship in the 100 hurdles in 2013. Holly then went on to the Milwaukee School of Engineering, where she became the Raiders' career scoring and rebounding leader, a 3-time academic All-American, 2-time Player of the Year in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference, and the recipient of the 2016 Jostens Trophy, given each year to a Division III college basketball player based on basketball ability, academic ability, and community service. Holly received this award in the spring of 2016, becoming one of the very few juniors to receive this national honor. We had the chance to visit with Holly Denfeld in the spring of 2017 to recap her outstanding career at the Milwaukee School of Engineering.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blur. They say that time goes faster the older you get, and that's very, very true. It's been a really great ride and a really great time, and I'm really thankful for everything that's happened so far. I guess I have a lot of people to thank for that, like coaches and teammates and family for the support. Just a great ride, and I'm really thankful for everything that's happened. So.
Can you go back several years, Holly, and talk about the decision you made to come here? What precipitated that? Why you chose MSOE for athletics and your academic career?
Sure. I was between MSOE and Michigan Tech for the longest time, and now being at MSOE, I find that that's very common. Those two schools battle for the same students often, and I think the decision came down to what mattered most and my priorities, and I definitely prioritized school first, and basketball second. That was kind of a learning curve for me, something new, because I thought basketball was going to be my life for the rest of my life. But I kind of realized that my career was important, and MSOE definitely had the strong background, a lot of opportunities, especially in architectural engineering and construction. Being in the heart of Milwaukee near Chicago, I knew that there was a lot of employers around, and basketball was kind of the icing on the cake, having that opportunity. So.
I do know a number of students who have come to a school like this, or Michigan Tech, or similar schools, to whom academics is number one and athletics is 0. They say, hey, it's just so tough on this level academically that I got to put athletics behind me. What was it about athletics that made you want to stick with that and continue in that area along with the academic side?
I think what made me continue with my athletic career is just my nature of being busy all the time and always having something to do. I was very involved in high school, being a 3-sport athlete and being involved in a bunch of clubs, organizations, student council, things like that. So it was natural for me to do that in my college career. I'm also really thankful for the opportunities that athletics has given me to grow as an individual. Having a team is basically like having a second family, and they have taught me a lot over the years, and I'm very thankful for that.
With the success you had in high school athletics, of course, with basketball, but most notably in track, winning a number of state championships in track individually and as a team, did that prepare you for the work you had to encounter in balancing athletics and academics on this level?
Most definitely. Everybody that I've talked to about MSOE raves about the workload and how busy you will be and how rigorous the academics are. And I think having that in mind, along with my natural work ethic, has definitely prepared me for that. So just being mentally prepared for how rigorous the academic load is and just taking it head on like I did really helped.
Well, let's talk about your athletic career here at MSOE. First of all, when you first started, and you had some pretty good success right away, did it kind of surprise you that on even Division III level you could be so successful right away?
Yeah, it's definitely a shock. I just came in not really knowing what to expect, and I think that played to my benefit. I always loved surprising people, and surprising people in a positive way. So I think just for me, coming in with the mindset of you don't know what's going to happen, just work hard and see what comes out of it, I think that helped with that aspect.
What did MSOE see in you in terms of an athlete that made them want to add you to their program?
Well, I don't know if I can speak for that so much in what Coach Ott saw in me. I was actually the one to reach out to her. I saw MSOE as an engineering school first and reached out to her. So she did a really good job of coming to not only my basketball events, but my volleyball games too. She came to a couple of those in high school, and she did a really good job of making me feel welcome and making me feel part of the team and part of the school even before I fully committed. So I'm not sure what really drew her to me, but I'm glad something did.
How were you used by MSOE on the court your first couple of years here?
How was that used?
Yeah, back to the basket type player or that type of player.
Sure. It was kind of interesting seeing my position in basketball, my role in basketball, evolve from freshman to senior year in high school, and then from freshman to senior year in college. In high school, I started out as a really back to the basket type of player and transitioned to more of an outside player just because we didn't have much experience at the varsity level at that time. But at MSOE, I just progressed as the back to the basket type of player. So I guess Coach Ott and Coach Nelson now both saw my potential to completely dominate in the paint, and they really harped on me for that, and just that was my focus, and it works out well.
Now, I would have to think that if you ask most Division III coaches, men's or women's, about some of the shortcomings of their game, they would say, well, that dominant post player is something we don't have a lot of on our level. You certainly would be a rarity in that. Did you find that you didn't see a lot of other young ladies with those type of skills when you played on this level?
Our conference is full of really good post players. Some teams have a bigger advantage than others. I can think specifically of Wisconsin Lutheran in our conference. They had Kirsten Schultz, who was 6'2", just a giant tree planted in the middle of the lane that could play both defensively and offensively, and she was a good challenge for me growing up throughout the career. And there are a number of other really good post players in our conference as well. I usually have the height advantage, so that's really nice. But you see them here and there, not all too often, though.
How about your experience at Edgar, playing for Betty Urmansky and running track for the track coaches they had there? How did that experience help you on this level?
She definitely prepared me, prepared my mindset to always work hard and always do your best. I'm very thankful for the opportunity that she gave me early on my freshman year of high school, being on varsity full-time. If it wasn't for that, I might not have progressed the way that I did in high school and gotten to where I needed to be in college. So she gave me that first opportunity to progress and enhance my skills and to keep pushing forward with that. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. Are
there any highlights in terms of basketball you can think of in these last 4 years for you?
Any highlights? I think one of the biggest highlights for both me and the team, less of me, more of the team, was when we played Concordia, Wisconsin. It was last year, so my junior year. I received my 1,000th point, which is a really big milestone. But on top of that, we came out with a great win. I will never forget that game. It was coaches say that you should think of basketball as a possession-by-possession game, value every time that you're on offense, and really try to score every time that you have the ball. And that was the epitome. That game was the epitome of that mindset. It came down to the last 5-6 minutes. It was literally a one-possession game those last 5 minutes. We'd score, they would score, we would get a stop, we would score again, they would get a stop, they would score. It was back and forth, and we were the ones that came out on top. We were the ones that had the last possession and made the last basket to come out on top. So not only was it a great milestone for me getting that 1,000th point, but it was a really great game and one that I take a lot of pride in.
You know, Holly, some people might look at you and your accomplishments and say, you know, maybe under the right circumstances, Holly could have played at a higher level. But when you talk about the team aspect, which may be more ingrained on the Division III level, does that make it more worthwhile for you to be on this level?
I think so. And going back to your previous question about MSOE versus Michigan Tech and why I chose MSOE, Michigan Tech is Division II for basketball, so that definitely weighed into my decision, and that is where I said that my academics comes first and basketball comes second. So although I personally felt like I might have been able to perform and do well at the Division II level, I decided to put that aside and take MSOE's Division III route and put school first. And I really value that decision, and I'm really glad that I went to Division III, because being a Division III athlete, your academics are first, your career is pretty much second, and athletics is pretty much third, with family and faith and things thrown in there too. But playing at the Division III level has given me the opportunity to do so much more and grow in my knowledge and my career as well, and not have to worry about going to practice for 5 hours a day and being on the road all day, getting back late on a school night, worrying about homework assignments and getting up early for class the next morning. That's why I love the Division III atmosphere, because you're able to do more than just athletics. You're able to develop your career. You're able to develop as an individual and play the sports you love.
What's it been like for you, speaking of that, to be in a situation on a team where so many of your teammates have similar academic goals?
Mm-hmm. It makes it really easy to connect and to relate to them. Being at MSOE, we have a select few majors, and 80% of them are engineering, of course. So we all have that engineering mindset, that problem-solving mentality. And what comes along with that problem-solving mentality is determination and grit, to not give up and to finish what you've started. So that's allowed me to make some really good connections with my teammates, and I think what makes us a really strong team.
This program, not only in women's basketball but in other sports, has certainly grown over the last 10, 12 years. You've been part of that with your success in women's basketball. What's it been like for you to see that growth and more community acceptance in MSOE sports?
It's great. It's really awesome. I remember when I came down to MSOE my freshman year, the basketball program was coming off of 2 wins, 26 losses, something like that. So having a 500 season right after that was a huge leap in itself. And just building this program, being a part of that growth, has been great. Seeing our women's soccer team go to the NCAA tournament, that was great. Seeing both women's and men's sports grow to a point where we're worried about locker room space is a really good problem to have, and something that is really exciting for me, especially because I'm a person that takes pride in the things that I'm involved in, and MSOE athletics is something that I take a lot of pride in, and seeing that growth is awesome.
We talked with Brian Miller some years ago about this building, this Kern Center, what this meant to this community, what it meant to this university. To you, what does the Kern Center mean to you as a basketball player and a student athlete here?
It's just a great place to escape to. It's where I never realize it, but I spend so much time in this Kern Center, in this building, from practices and early morning workouts, and some classes are even in here. It's a living, learning environment. And just knowing that you've spent so much of your day, of your life in this building doing what you love is great. So.
I know you probably don't want to sit here and reel off your accomplishments, but you have had a lot here at MSOE, scoring, rebounding leader, and many other areas in basketball. What's that been like for you to continue your career and have these accolades being checked off as you go along and become such really one of the outstanding players in the school history?
I don't know. No words, really. Something that you don't expect. I never expected any of this to happen. I just do what I love to do, and I love to do it well. And I love to take those that I care about with me, and that being my teammates. So I'm really grateful, really thankful for everything that my teammates, my coaches have done for me to get me to this point, and all of the awards and the recognition is just cherry on top.
You know, when people think about MSOE women's basketball, I'm sure your name comes to the forefront. Do you embrace that you can be more or less a focal point of this program, of the women's basketball program here, and be such a positive impact on this?
Of course. Ask me any question. I will be glad, overly joyed to talk about this school, this athletic program, the women's basketball program, how it's changed me as a person, and how much it means to me. I am glad to be that focal point, and I fully embrace it. And like I said, ask me anything. I'd be glad to talk to you.
Well, in light of that, most student athletes certainly grow from the college experience. Has the athletic side of this helped you grow as well?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Athletics in general teaches you a variety of things: teamwork, determination, discipline, things like that. So on top of all of that, just making the friendships that I've made, as I mentioned earlier, my team is my family. It definitely means a lot.
I'd like you to comment something I just thought about. But I heard a statement made by an executive in the NCAA a while back, and we often hear about balance, that especially on the Division III level, there's a balance between academics and athletics, and you kind of juggle that. And this gentleman said, no, that's not correct. It shouldn't be a balance, because balance suggests that there's an opposition here, that there's two opposing forces vying for your attention,
Sure.
Wherein what we really should have is these two issues, academics and athletics, working side by side to promote the whole person and enhance the whole educational experience. Have you found that's the case here at MSOE?
Yes, I would definitely agree. Both academics and athletics. Although they don't drive with each other very often. There's definitely conflicts here and there. But in my experience, athletics and the academic departments that I'm a part of have really worked together to build me as a person.
How have you feel you've grown the most the last several years here?
Where have I grown the most? I think in the leadership aspect. There's a number of stories and a number of examples that I could give, but definitely experiencing and working with people with different personalities, different goals, different aspirations in life, and how to play to each of those advantages and bring out the best in others is something that I've learned and developed over the years through both academic and my experience as a basketball player as well.
I would probably assume that by the time you get to be a junior and certainly a senior, you become a mentor to some of the younger athletes. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy that role?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. One thing that I take a lot of pride in and that I like to ramble on about is the concrete canoe competition that we have here on campus as part of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And I have had the privilege to be a part of that team since my freshman year. And as a freshman, it was myself and about 4 other underclassmen who came into that group, and there was one person who was a graduate student, and he led the cohort of 4, 5, 6 of us. And let's just say we started from the bottom, and myself and that core group of 4 or 5 or 6 of us have built that team to, we have roughly 20 members of the concrete canoe team, and we are going to the national competition in June. So we went from about the bottom of the barrel to going to the national competition, which is great, and something that, like I said, I take a lot of pride in, and that I have seen my leadership skills develop through that org. And now being a senior, mentoring the other underclassmen to continue that success and to continue building upon the legacy that we're looking to build is great.
Well, you received quite an honor last year when you won the recipient of the Jostens Trophy, which is a well-known award for Division III academics and athletics. What did that mean to you to receive that honor?
It means a lot. I guess that's all I can say. Again, not a lot of words. It's one of those things that you don't have a goal to win the Jostens Trophy. You just do what you do, and sometimes you get recognized for it. And this was one of those cases. I remember when Coach Ott called me. She asked me, "Hey, what are you doing next week, Tuesday and Thursday, or Tuesday through Thursday?" I was like, "Oh, shoot, Coach, I'm sorry, I forgot to send you my class schedule. I know you're trying to schedule morning practices and workouts and things. Like, I'll get that to you right away." She's like, "Well, can you clear your schedule because you're going to Virginia to get the Jostens Trophy?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding?" Just something that totally out of the blue. Never thought in a million years that I would receive such a prestigious award amongst such worthy candidates. The people that were in that pool are just amazing people. So again, it's not a goal to win the Jostens Trophy. It's just something that happens, and I'm really glad that it happened.
There was a list on the release of some of the activities and organizations and charities you're involved with. I don't want to sit here and reel them all off and have you check them all off, but are there a couple of organizations you've been involved with the last few years that really mean a lot to you?
Yeah. So the student competition team, the concrete canoe competition, that one takes up a majority of my time. That's something that I like to be involved in and has taught me a lot in the professional realm. As far as community service, I was a part of the Kayla's Crew playground build. It was a playground that was built by the community members of Milwaukee and of Franklin. It's a playground, an all-access playground, so children with disabilities can freely roam throughout the playground and play with others. And being a part of that community build was a really great experience. I was able to practice some of my construction management, some of my architecture skills in designing a part of that playground. And seeing a project like that from start to final completion is one of the reasons why I'm involved in the construction industry. Seeing something that I did help others and something that I did bring joy to others is a feeling unmatched by any other. So that was one of the community service projects that I felt really passionate about in the last couple of years.
I don't want to let you go without mentioning that you have kind of dabbled in track and field here at MSOE. You've got every once in a while I'll look at this meet and you're in there doing something, and then for the next 6 weeks you're not doing something, you're back in there again. But tell us about your track career. What's that meant to you here?
Sure. So basketball was always the sport that I took really seriously as the one that I was good at. So I decided to follow that one wholeheartedly into my college career. And track and field, the events that I do, the hurdles and the triple jump, aren't easy. They require a little bit of technique. And I've jumped into the outdoor track and field season starting in March and then through April and a little bit of May. So when basketball ends, I have about 2.5-ish months to try to switch gears and refocus and reteach my body how to hurdle and how to triple. So that's not easy, but it's something to keep me in shape and something that I like to do. And I'm really looking forward to next year, my 5th year in school, where I will get to do both indoor and outdoor track, so I'll have a full training season. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing what I can do when I have that full year of training.
What's it been like for a young lady from Edgar to be in Milwaukee the last 4 years?
It's funny. I always make the silly reference that I'm just a small town girl in a big city, you know. But even though I'm in downtown Milwaukee, MSOE's campus and the university feels like home. It's a very small university with not too many undergrad students, so you still know pretty much everybody. You get to know everybody in your major by name, and that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed, and one of the things that drew me towards MSOE is that even though it's in the middle of downtown with all of these possibilities, it still feels like home.
And how about the future plans after graduation, after athletics is all done?
Yeah, through internships and being away from home the last couple years, I think I've realized that my life isn't anywhere but in Wisconsin, and my life isn't anywhere or anything without my family in it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what opportunities are available for me in the central Wisconsin area. I'm engaged to Matt Nowak. He has a really good job in the Wausau area. So he's back home. My parents are back home. His family is back home. So I think that's where I will end up after graduation.
Holly, any final words about MSOE and the experiences you've had here?
MSOE is awesome. If you're thinking engineering, if you're thinking business, if you're thinking nursing, those are our 3 biggest schools here, our 3 biggest focuses. I don't know, this school has taught me personally a lot and has offered me opportunities that are unmatched anywhere else. So I could rave on and on, honestly. So you better cut me off now.
Well, before I do that, what have you learned from Brian Miller the last 4 years?
Oh, boy, Brian Miller. One thing that I've learned about Brian Miller.
Or from Brian Miller.
From Brian Miller.
Don't want to get too personal here.
I don't know. He's a great leader. He's a great guy. He's one that can tell you hard work gets you places. And that's him.
Edgar's Holly Denfeld, who finished her outstanding college basketball career at the Milwaukee School of Engineering in the spring of 2017. This is Gene DeLisio reporting for WDLB and WOSQ.